Real Hello, and good day, good evening.
Hello, everyone.
How you guys doing? This is Ezekiel
and Sarah,
and we're here today for another episode of
Marriage Matters Live. Yes.
Hi guys.
Yes.
So glad to see you all here today. Those of you on the live chat, just say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you are here in the comments, you're watching this video after the fact, don't be a stranger. Add a comment in the comment box.
Yes. We hope all of you are doing really well. We pray you've had a good week. Obviously there's so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful for.
Always. And
I think today is just about, just continue to remain grateful for what you have and for where you are currently. Things could be worse. When we look at other things that are happening around the world and things like that, it just makes you feel so grateful for where you are and things like that. So yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. So, Mrs. Diligence, what's today's topic?
Oh gosh.
Today we're talking about.
What was it again?
We're talking about missed opportunities. We're talking about missed opportunities.
Yes.
It's a funny thing, this, because we don't have a time machine. We can't go back in time.
We can't.
And we can't fix those things that we've missed out on in the past.
That's right.
So it's kind of like one of those situations where we're learning from the mistakes of the past, the situations of the past, and we're taking those lessons and we're carrying them forward.
That's right.
I had to start this with that story that I shared with you guys before. And this is when we were really initially thinking about this episode, this topic. This was the key story that kind of was playing on my heart, playing on my mind. And it's the story that I shared with you guys about this man who, and this is for my spiritual people today. So those of you, spiritually minded, maturing in the things of the spirit, desirous to go forward and higher with God in your relationships and other aspects of your life, this is really for you.
Yeah.
So you remember the chap, I spoke to you about this a few episodes back, and he essentially believed he had a word from the Lord, and he went to meet this young lady. She was young at the time, and said to her, look, I believe the Lord wants me to marry you. I believe that we're supposed to get married. So she didn't take too kindly to his
gesture,
his offer.
So
essentially what happened was she said no. The long and the short of it, it's not her type. Doesn't see herself marrying him. And maybe, I guess, looking at him in the situation that he was at that particular point in time, she maybe felt she could do better. Maybe
that's true.
And or she was
that way.
Better suited for somebody else. And they kind of went their separate ways. He went on to become quite successful in his area, in his arena. And did some things, became kind of noticed in certain sectors. Got married, had some children, and then on this fateful day, on this one fateful day, they happened to be together in an environment, and this woman came to him and said to him, called his name, and she said to him,
do you remember me? It was probably one of those ones. Hey, hi, how are you? Oh, you're looking mighty fine. Do you remember me?
So, and on that particular day, she said to him that she believes that they were supposed to get married, or are supposed to get married, essentially, something to that effect. And she'd made a grave mistake at that point in time. She should never have turned him down and said no and X, Y, Z. And the rest is history, as they say. Obviously, he turned around and said to her, no, that can't be the case. He's married and X, Y, Z. And a question that I get from time to time is, do I believe that there is a one? Like this one person. I think somebody brought that question up on the stream previously before.
I think we spoke about that.
We touched on it. And that kind of feeds into this in a sense. That the focal point here is, have you missed out in the past? What have you missed out on in the past? And what can you do to avoid missing opportunities going forward? So I hear some people saying, what's that got to do with marriage? How does that relate to marriage? Basically. And I think that there are aspects all across the board. So this is extremely significant to those of you who are courting, early stages, considering dating someone. This is really important for you. This is really important for those people who are in marriages already. And you might say, how can you be in a marriage and missing opportunities? Well, we're going to break down some of that shortly.
Yes, exactly.
And I think it goes like across the field altogether. So thoughts, Sarah, thoughts.
Well, I mean, for me, it's one of those, it's one of those topics where you can feel like, have I really missed my opportunity?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel, you know, if it was for me, it would be mine.
Yeah.
If it was meant for me, I would have it.
Yeah.
So obviously there's that, you know, there's that aspect of it where you could probably, a lot of people might think, oh, well, you know, that relationship didn't work out because it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And I think, I do feel like having that mindset sometimes can mess a lot of things up for people.
Yeah.
Because
whatever will be, will be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, you know.
Yeah.
But then there's that mentality, oh, something else will come along, someone else will come along. And even if it's not the exact thing, you might meet it. It might just be okay. I can manage it. I can deal with it, kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of that's how I see this topic, and a lot of people probably might feel that way, because there are probably loads of you out there, you know, watching that might feel that your opportunity had gone. You know, the person that you were meant to be with today is now with someone else. Why? You know, so sorry. whoa, getting a bit excited here. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So, you know, it's so many relationships have failed.
That's right.
You know, so many relationships have failed, and those failed relationships could have possibly been marriages, successful marriages.
That's right.
But failed dating relationships.
Yeah.
You know, failed relationships where people just felt like, oh, you know, I'm not ready for marriage, so it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, you know, it's funny, that leads to quite an interesting point, and we were kind of discussing some of the topics coming up in it's kind of just, you know, stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Checking on the stew, and one of the topics that we're going to talk about in some of future weeks is going to be divorce. We're going to talk about divorce.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you think about Jesus's words on this, he was like, when he was talking to the people, he said to them, look, you know, it's not God's will. God doesn't desire divorce for you guys.
Yeah.
But because of the hardness of your hearts.
That's right.
All right. He allowed Moses to permit this kind of bill of divorcement, this divorce papers thing. And what you said then is so key, because when you really think about the reality of relationships, there are many things that we could have overlooked. And if you consider your patience levels when you were younger, your maturity level when you were younger, your emotional intelligence, emotional disposition when you were younger, and you look at where you are now,
just understanding what a relationship is.
So your definition and understanding of relationship, your perspective.
Your viewpoint,
We talk about worldview all the time. Your worldview when you were 16 versus what it is now.
Right.
I'm not shooting at you if you're 16 and you're in the arena, or you've got a young 16-year-old who's quite mature. I'm not shooting for you, but ultimately we develop, we mature, and we grow with time. That's the reality.
Right, yeah.
So my thoughts are, it's very important for us to take stock of the reality that over time things change.
Yeah.
So what you may have forgiven today, you may not necessarily have forgiven 15 years ago,
True.
5 years back. So, like, how do you feel that kind of feeds into this missed opportunity scenario?
Oh boy, gosh, you know what? A lot of the times, I just feel like people take for granted what they have.
That's right.
A lot of the times, people take for granted what they have. You know, at the time, the person might not look how they should look. They might not sound how they need to sound. They might not have the right etiquette. They might not dress appropriately. They might be boyish or too girlish at the time. So
immature, you mean?
Immature, of course, immature. So, you know, the perspective that people have at a time when they're in something is going to be completely different to when they're out of it.
Yeah.
So when you're in a relationship, when you're courting someone, or when you're in a marriage, you're just seeing you're seeing it from close proximity.
Yeah. So
people never really take time to zoom out.
Come on now.
And obviously if people take time to zoom out, they can look at things from a wider angle. But because we're in it, we're involved in it, it's us and the other person that are dealing and going through certain things. It's completely different. It's so different that even little things can cause someone to be like, oh, yeah, this isn't working. I'm sorry, this isn't working. When they might meet someone who's been married for 10 years and it's like, oh, you had that problem too. Oh, that's the only problem me think, and we couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
So we broke up because we couldn't deal with this issue. But when you begin to look at things from a wider perspective, it makes it a bit easier to begin to see that, okay, this isn't how it should be, but let's see how we can work on it and stuff like that. So, but we don't want to give too much away too soon, you know.
Yeah, it's you raise a powerful point. I think when I go back to the days of when I was kind of training people in markets, trading, stocks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the powerful lessons that I'd always try to convey. And it's like, there's a difference between being right up close to what's happening now. You're looking at things at a really quick perspective versus zooming all the way out and taking a different perspective. And when you take that kind of a wider vantage point, I always kind of liken it to somebody in a tall block of flats looking down at a park versus someone down in the park actually kicking the ball, basically. And you see two totally different perspectives. You can see the open player, you can see like things totally different from up there. And I liken that being up at the top looking down as a mature perspective versus being down kind of in the field, maybe not having that kind of awareness. There are some mature people down in that environment who have the awareness and know where things are, but there are some who are kind of just in the moment, playing in the moment and don't have an understanding. And that's the way a lot of people tackle their relationships. We talk about planning all the time, talk about worldview from time to time. And these are things that I think are really important. The perspective you have to opportunities, the perspective you have to tackling challenges and hard situations is really, really important. You see, people don't realize the weight of some of the situations they're dealing with in the moment. So sometimes there's an argument about money, or there's an argument about family members per se. So let's say
don't like your sister.
Exactly.
Your brother's a womanizer.
That's perfect.
Whatever it may be.
So and people will permit that one thing there, as you said earlier on, to break the relationship down. Someone doesn't like someone's mum or somebody's dad or someone's sibling or their far removed relative. And instead of putting that in perspective, okay, yes, they're related to you. Yes, they may or may not have an influence on you. However, we're trying to build something here for ourselves. And what this is and how that relates to the external relationship is totally different. And if we can appropriately get that perspective, it helps us not to fail in certain areas and not to fall into the traps that many of us have fallen into in the past in certain areas. And you know what? I want you guys to kind of jump in the chat if you're there. Let us know where you're chiming in from. Also, let us know. Also, let us know.
Good evening.
Say hello to everyone. Let us know if you can hear us well. So if you can hear us and the visuals are good, let us know. Let us know. What I really want to get from you guys now is what has been like a big challenge, a big stigma in the relationship or a past relationship that you couldn't get past. Okay? And this isn't to point fingers, but it's really for us to have this discussion and really kind of look at scenarios where maybe now you feel like you can get past it, you feel like you can see beyond it, but at that time, the way she cooked that food or the way he refused to take out that dustbin, those things really got to you. Yeah, I think that's key. So,
but it's funny because the 2 points that you've just mentioned sound like people who are living together. Technically, the way she cooked that food and he didn't take out the dustbin. Some people aren't even there yet to analyze things from that perspective.
Okay,
it could literally just be.
So the way he spoke about my friend.
Yeah, or he was late. Every time he's supposed to meet, we're late. I'm a timekeeper. I can't deal with someone who's going to be late all the time.
The way he dressed.
So, like sometimes it can be really small things that trigger people off.
The way he failed to have respect for your mama.
Oh no, he gotta go. But so sometimes it's not always those things that that bring a relationship down. I haven't even gotten to that stage yet.
Yeah.
That cook food, take bins out, didn't wash the bath.
I think you're probably thinking about it from our kind of perspective because
from a marital perspective.
There are a lot of people. No, I'm just saying generally because I'm not saying people were in a relationship, they were married and it didn't work out.
Right.
Although that can be the situation. If you've been in that situation and the marriage didn't work, and now you're thinking back and you're thinking, hold on, it could have worked if I was a little maturer, if they were a little maturer. I know it's always easy to point a finger. Let's try and look introspectively, right? But some people are cohabiting today. Let's be real.
True.
People are as much as we might say no dating, don't date, court and get married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people are like, no, we're dating, and we're like part of what we constitute as the date is to cohabit. Sleep in the same house. Yeah. Share the same, pillow. So. Those are situations. Listen, we were there. We were there. We've been there. But obviously,
it's true. We have
by His grace.
Exactly.
Only by His grace. Do you understand? Our understanding increased, and we had to go through even a hard road ourselves to kind of break certain
barriers.
Yeah, I was gonna say create some separation even before we took things to the next level, and we know how difficult that was. So. That's something we can talk about as well. Right. So, all right, cool. So challenges pre-marriage. Okay, so challenges pre-marriage. So we're talking about things that you've looked at. You're dating someone, you're liking someone, but something pops up and you're just like, I just can't stand it.
Yeah.
I just can't have it. So we're talking to people who have been through that before. But how about people who are coming up into that situation right about now?
Yes.
So are you kind of in the early stages or the latter stages of courting? Are you considering maybe going out and starting to date? And maybe you've been scanning, what do they call them? The dating websites. That's it. She got it in one. She knows me. So you're scanning the dating websites. So are you kind of looking for something? And ladies, you know, I'm not shooting for you, but I always go back for the proverbial list. All right. So that list you ladies talk about, I hear you talk about so much. I got a list. So
men have lists too.
I'm not saying I can only speak for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't it, guys? You guys have lists.
If you're a guy out there or if you're a girl out there, you know the guy's got a list, or your guy's got a list. Shout out, let us know. Okay, so but how about you guys? So we're spoken about people on the edge, kind of really on the edge, but now you're kind of in the mix and you're searching. What are the real deal breakers for you? And the reason I want us to discuss this is because today, what might be a deal breaker on your list in the future, when you're a little bit more mature, may be a missed opportunity. It may be a missed opportunity.
That's so true.
Listen,
I never saw it like that.
This is the issue, right? I've had, and it's mainly my sisters. It's my sisters, all right. I'm talking with them, and they're like, yeah, you know, God is gonna definitely give me someone who looks the way I want, or he's definitely going to give me someone who's from East London or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Or he's a hard guy or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? For the end. And it's like I generally find from those conversations that it's my sisters and maybe my brothers are going through it, but they're not being open about it with me. Yeah, but it's that list that blocks them at times from going for the person that at a point in time they felt that God was pushing them towards. And this is a big issue, because if he is your man of God, if he is your husband, if he is the one for you, and you're failing to accept him because of the list, because of one thing or another that you've got, and it generally comes from this ideal that we've borrowed from outside.
True.
All right, we spoke about that before.
Yeah.
And so this is the situation. So this is what I want to know. Like, so if you're on a dating website, if you're dating, you know someone that's dating, you're in conversations with people that are dating, or kind of just moving through that courting period, and they're saying, you know what, I just can't stand this. Like, everything is cool, but I just can't stand this. Like, what are those things? What are those blockers, those pet peeves? And
let us know.
Yeah, and tell me this. Casting your mind forward. So the you in a year, the you in 5 years, do you think that you could tolerate that? Let's talk about some of that. All right, cool.
Yeah, so you guys, you know, feel free to get talking. Let us know. Obviously, my husband's just given some things that, you know, we would like you to, you know, discuss with us about. But, you know, I'm going to push forward. I'm going to press on and open up the floor for me, you know, from my perspective of what I think have caused and can cause people to miss out on their opportunity. And the first thing that I've got down here is letting go of the past.
Yes.
Now, you know, regardless of who it is, most people have been in a relationship. Most people have dated for X amount of time, even if it was a 3-week relationship that just started off so well but ended off terribly and could have left some scars. It could also be people who have probably even experienced a failed marriage.
Yeah.
In a sense, again, marrying the person that wasn't supposed to be for them a lot of the times, and then entering into a new stage in life, but they cannot let go of the past. They cannot let go of the traumas. They cannot let go of the things that they experience. Even some people, it might not even be traumatic. Some men or women might have dated someone who was quite flamboyant, bought stuff, liked to do shopping, live an expensive life. You know how it is. And then Mr. Man, who's just got some 9 to 5, comes and approaches, and she's like, honey, I'm sorry, but I ain't letting go of the past. I'm trying to refine that past relationship in a new person kind of thing. So for me, letting go of the past is a big thing. You know, there's so many things that happen in relationships that hurt people, that cause people not to trust. A lot of people end up with trust issues when they've had been in previous relationships before. And as well, it's just like, a lot of people don't know how to move forward with somebody. You know, they don't know how to take it to that next step. They don't know how to approach this new relationship from a different vantage point. They're looking at it with the same lenses that they had on 2 years ago, 5 months ago, however long, you know, hopefully people aren't like in and out of relationships like this, but yeah, you know, but then they're looking at it from a completely different perspective. So it's the past is such a big thing. And again, you know, I mean, on the was it last week or the week before? Not last week. The show before, I was speaking about people's mental state of mind.
Yes.
That's also something that not letting go of the past can affect. It can affect someone's mind, the way they think, the way they look at this other person. You know, oh, why is she being so nice to me? Like, what's that about? You know, or why is he taking so much interest in my family? You know, what's going on here? I remember Uncle so and so being so interested in someone, ended up with someone's sister. Not feeling that. You know, so all these different things can creep up, and it's so important to, you know how like every time we ask God for forgiveness, he forgives us, gives us a clean slate.
That's right.
Wipes everything away and we start afresh again. When we wake up in the morning, it's a whole new day.
Indeed.
It's a new 24 hours. It's a fresh start.
That's right.
Anyone can make something happen in that new day, you know, and it's about having a similar respect, I guess, for people to say, okay, this isn't so-and-so, so I'm going to look at it from a completely fresh perspective, and I'm not going to allow the past to interrupt me here. But then again, these are things that people actually have to deal with. You might need to get help, talk to someone in that area. If you've been in a relationship and it was that broken and it hurt you that badly, whether male or female, you know, it's about finding the help. Because if you keep engaging with different people and none of it is going anywhere, you have to stop and say, okay, it can't be these 3 people that were the problem. Why did these 3 relationships not work out? Why have I spent 10 years dating and I'm still not married? You know, so that was one of the first points I was gonna make.
Yeah, I think that's a powerful point. I think, again, it ties so neatly into the idea of maturity. I think depending on where you are, some people would say, no, what they've done to me, I raise this point so often, what they've done to me, they deserve to be cut off for the rest of my days. I deserve never to speak to them again. And what people don't understand is that failure to forgive actually hinders us. It hinders us. We are held back because there's a little part of us that is constantly held with them. And you raise it in such a powerful way, because when you're moving into a new relationship, you think you're free. Oh yeah, that person, they wronged me and I never spoke to them again. But there's a little piece of them that you carry with you, and that really goes into kind of soul ties. And it's so funny that you raise that point now in this way, because again, topics to come for the future, but it's really important. A lot of people don't understand how powerful a soul tie is, what a soul tie looks like, and how it affects not just today, but the relationships of the future. So I think that's really, really powerful. Managing your emotional disposition over time is really, really key in determining that you don't miss out on the great opportunity. So I know some people, they're like, you know what, I don't like people from a particular country. Do you understand? So it's like, oh, if you're from Tobago, or if you're from Ghana, or if you're from Nigeria, or if you're from a particular place just on the outside of Scotland, I don't like you. And it's just like, why? They may have a reason or an experience or a challenge that they can reel off to you, but the reality is that hinders them, because if truly their blessing, and I say that loosely, guys, but if truly the favour that has been instituted for them is coming from that little village just on the outside of Scotland, it's coming from Tobago, it's coming from Ghana, it's coming from Nigeria, they miss out because they have this mental blocker up that stops them from getting closer. And this happens in relationships all the time. We spoke about a few episodes back, go back and check it if you haven't watched it already. We spoke about just being kind of attracted to dysfunction. And the challenge there is that sometimes what people don't see is that they've put up this shield, and it's actually causing them to operate in dysfunction. They're actually operating in a manner in which they can't engage with people because of something that happened in the past. One
of the other things that come up a lot is race. You've mentioned, different ethnic different countries and things like that, or locations, but race is a big thing. I remember on some of my on our girly dates that we've had, girls days in that we've had, and I've asked my friend, I'm like, my friend's like, would you date a Caucasian person? Like, would you date an Asian person, or would you date this type of person? And the response is I'm just like, but what if that Chinaman is the person that God sent for you? You will you're gonna miss out on the perfect relationship just because they're Chinese, or just because they're from wherever it may be, And again, it's just it's having that mindset of no, I have to be with someone who looks like me, kind of thing. That is a big thing. I don't care what anybody says. That is a massive blocker.
Big time.
Because we're so used to, obviously, our own, and it's not a race. I'm not trying to bring up a racial thing, but sometimes that's what it is. It's just like, okay, all right. So let me not be a hypocrite yet. Straight up and down, yeah. Did it, babes? I thank God.
Tell them.
I thank God for my chocolate, but at the same time, it's like as I'm older, thinking about my children, I'm now thinking of it from that perspective.
Yeah,
we've got children now, so it's a thing of where I wouldn't want them to have my mentality, where it's just like, listen, if we're not from the same land, we can't make this work. Do you know what I'm saying? I want them to have a more wider perspective on relationships. To be, if this person is, sent by God, in a sense, if you feel in your heart that the Lord and you're praying about it and all that kind of thing, race should not be a factor.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, a lot of the times, race is a big thing, and a lot of people have missed their opportunities because they refuse to date outside of their race. I thought I'll just drop that in there. I mean, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments, or even on that particular topic, on that particular point, just let me know what your thoughts are as well, because I'm sure a lot of you are watching this guy and Sarah. Listen, I am staying in my race. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but a lot of, we're talking about missed opportunities here.
Yeah.
So it's about having a particular mindset. If you're not going to miss your opportunity, you do have to make sure that all angles are covered.
Look, let me ask you a question. What's more important, the race of an individual, or the degree to which they love you? Do you understand? What's more important? Their ability to understand your worldview, or the type of food that they were eating as a small person in wherever country they came from.
But it's not just about food, isn't it? It's about understanding cultural differences.
Yes.
It's not just the food.
Okay, so as I sit
because
here
if
before you,
because obviously it's like, okay, I don't really wear African clothes that much, but if I want to wear it, I'll wear it. But imagine dating someone who's like, what's this? Please take this off. You're not coming at me with this gelly thing, whatever you call that thing on your head. Where you got? Are you your mum? Do you know what I'm saying? Why are you dressing like your aunties?
Are you your mum?
Do you know what I'm saying? Because obviously, who knows? Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's not just about what food. Like yeah. Yeah,
listen, these are. I don't even want it to seem like we're trivializing this, because these are real issues. These are real issues, real challenges that people go through. And I think when we talk about the cultural, like if you want us to do a episode on the racial divide, talk to us about it. We'll do that. But when we touch on the cultural racial divide, such as this, as I sit here, I'm sitting here as a believing man, as a biblical believing man.
Hallelujah.
And the reality is this: there are some who would say to you, the Bible says you should stay in your cultural ethnic groups. That's what they'll say.
Yeah.
And they will say that you stay on your corner and we'll stay on our corner. And you know what? To a degree, there's a logic there, to a degree. Yet, when we sit where we are today, we stand today with our beliefs. The point you made earlier on was very important, and people have asked me as well, like, so would you permit your daughter, we've had the discussion, would you permit your daughter to marry from this place or that place? Do you have these strict requirements? And I've shared, I've been real candid with you guys, and I've said to you, like, the things that are more important to me is, does the guy have a 5-year plan? Is the guy committed to the kingdom of the Most High? Like, does he have, like, can he I need to speak to his pastor. I want to speak to his community group. Do you know what I'm saying? Listen, I've got some investigating to do. You know what I mean? But those are the real things. It's like whether he is from. I was going to say planet Z, but he has to be from this planet anyway. But whether he's from country Z or country Y, or do you know what I'm saying? Tribe A or tribe B. Yeah. What is most important to me is his world view. Yeah. And I'll tell you this. This is why. Based on some of the experiences I've had in life, people have counted me out. People have said, you know what? What? I don't think, loads of potential. And listen, a lot of my guys, we heard this in school. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got a lot of potential, but... and then the teacher would always add some... one kind summary like this after. And the reality is, I'm not just talking about school and teachers, but in different areas and different aspects of life. Maybe even some of my sisters counted me out back in the day. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't. This is the reality.
Thank you all for counting him out. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
This is the reality. This is the reality, and maybe they missed the opportunity, but we won't go there still. But
listen.
I'm just,
let me turn this camera off.
I'm playing. So obviously, the fact of the matter is that when we consider where we are today and the view that we have, there are those who devalue or inappropriately value a person, a thing, a place, a country, a race or a nation. And it's, for me, it's not about which nation or which race is bigger or better than another. It's really about my worldview. You guys know
individual.
I'm open to you. Listen, I am a citizen, resident and ambassador of the kingdom of God. That's who I am. Do you understand? And that is the way, the worldview, the lens through which I engage with the world. Do you understand that? This is what's most important to me more than anything else. Some of you may not claim a religion. Some of you may have a religion that's different from the one we choose. However, we all agree that it is our worldview that gives us the lens through which we engage with the world. Yeah. So, again, you guys see how important this is. Worldviews must align. Worldviews must align. If they don't, it's a problem. And for some people, the worldview is, you must be my countryman.
True.
That's what it is.
True.
And those people, as you've said, may well be missing out on their relational opportunities because the person they're going to take from their tribe may not treat the woman the way she's supposed to be treated, may not treat the man the way he's supposed to be treated. So and then they lose out because they went for what was a traditional cultural norm as opposed to what my perspective, which is a godly directive, basically.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
Come on now.
Thank you.
This is what we're here for. So, you want to go again?
Okay, so the other point that I have is wanting what others have.
Powerful. Come on now.
Right? Wanting what others have. Okay. Now, that is... I'm not sure. I mean, I can only really talk from maybe a female perspective. Okay. Because I don't really know how guys, obviously, I'm not with all that, what men think sort of, sub thing. But anyway, so for me, it's wanting what others have is a massive, massive blocker. Okay? Now, there's the whole thing, living like the Joneses, that saying... looking at other people's relationships thinking, I can have that. I could probably actually do a bit better, and I really feel like wanting what others have is a massive blocker to some people in the relationships that they're currently in or relationships they were in and that haven't worked out, or they haven't allowed it to work out because it's just like, no, I have a perspective of what my relationship needs to look like. It needs to look like A, B, and C.
That's right.
Whatever celebrity it is that you're following, or whatever book it is that you've read, whatever romantic novel that you read, pre-relationship or whatever. And then it's kind of like, or your friends, your circle. There's always the circle, but remember, you don't always know what's going on deep down in someone's, when doors are closed. You don't know what's going on in people's minds and people's hearts. So, it's no point in having big eyes, as they would say, opening your eyes and looking at what someone else has and expecting that person that you're with to meet those expectations. It's all about, like I like to say, staying in your lane, and riding your cart to the very end with your husband or the person that you're courting, kind of thing. So what do you think on that?
I think that that's quite a poignant point when you think about the world, and this is something that we bring up almost every episode now. We started this from the very beginning, just talking about the whole media and how the media feeds into to our views. So I spoke just now about the worldview, and obviously our worldviews are developed from our choices, the things that we agree, the way we were brought up, and those kind of things. But then we get to a stage where we begin to develop and build on our worldview for ourselves. That's where we kind of, some of us may deviate from the things that our parents chose, or our ward, or those who kind of raised us, their kind of influences that they fed into us. We kind of begin to deviate away from those. So what's powerful about the point you make is that everybody is looking at someone. And the key is, what do you perceive when you see somebody else? When I see someone else, again, comes back down to my worldview. I'm grateful to God for what they have and where they are. But, you know, reality slaps me in the face, because I remember when we were coming up, and it's easy for us to be like, oh yeah, look what they've got. But the reality is, we don't have the resource that they have. And I think maybe both of us as young people were kind of trained somewhat, I might say, or influenced to understand that, you know, it takes work to kind of produce. So we were both willing to kind of put in some effort to get some stuff out, and understanding, maybe not the best at managing money, the best at spending, even the best at learning how to generate funds, but we understood some of the basics, and we began to put those things to work. And I think this is key. It's really key for the two people in the mix. Initially, you personally yourself, but then for the two people to really discuss this. How do you generate money? Where does money come from? How are you spending money? Because these things are clear pathways for us getting lost along the journey. While I'm looking at the way maybe my brother deals with money, or my dad deals with money, and you're looking at the way your sister or your mum deals with money, and those things are conflicts, then obviously I'm like, no, we can't work together. And in actuality, what you have may be good for me. What I have may be good for you. That's right. The blend of the two may even be beneficial. But the fact that we're both kind of, no. Like, I saw it done this way, it must be done this very way. And the problem is, I'm wrong in that. Where I'm wrong in that, it's a major issue. It's a major issue. So this is where counsel is very important. Very important to get counsel. Very important to talk things over with your friends, your circle of influence, your inner circle, because it's in that environment that we find safety and we get clarity. This is very, very important. So that's a good point that you brought up there. I think it kind of leads me on to you know, what's funny is, when I was initially kind of just doing brainstorming for this, one of the things, another biblical story that occurred to me, I think around about the time we might have been studying this, and it was the children of Israel. So the children of Israel had decided they wanted a king, and the phrase they used was so powerful. They said to God, "No, we want a king like the other nations." So they were focused. You have this all-powerful, the all-knowing, the living God. He's leading them. It almost it feels as though he was serving them. If you really look at it, he helped them to get out. He was keeping a promise to them. He was providing for them. Got them out of Egypt. Now they're on their journey, and then after a little while, you hear them say, after some time, they say, "Well, we want a God like the other. We want a king, like the other nations." And in actuality, that's what they were saying. They said, "We want our own God. We want someone else to govern us like the other nations." And God said, "Look, if you have a king, he's going to do this to you. He's going to do that to you.
It's not going to be all rosy.
You're going to pay taxes. He's going to make your children work. He's going to take this." And he told them all of the negative things that would happen. About. But they were still like, excuse me, we want a king. And it's really powerful. Sometimes, the major lesson there is, sometimes you're being instructed or directed. Maybe even some of the things we say here to you now may be beneficial for you, but you may not like it. It might not sit right.
That's true.
It may not sit well. And then because of that, you're like, no, I'm going to go out and do it the way I want to do it. And then some of the things we talk about here now, some of the things that the people you're going to for counsel tell you, and you see those things happen in your life in living color. And this is one of the things where we really need to be very, very careful, because it's not always the opportunity that we think is good for us that benefits us. True. Basically.
That's true. That's so true. Cool. Have you got a point you want to share?
Yes, I want. Basically, it's just about pre-marriage. We spoke about pre-marriage, so let's talk about marriage. Missed opportunities in marriage. So people are like, what? How can you miss an opportunity in marriage? How on earth can that happen?
How can you miss an opportunity in marriage?
You tell me, sis. How can we miss an opportunity in marriage?
Oh, okay. You could miss growing close.
Okay.
You know, like you could miss building together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, regardless of what we may think, people build separately in marriages.
That's good. That's good.
People build individually. You could miss an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Intellectually.
Okay.
There's those opportunities that can be missed. Physically, you know, whether it's helping each other out in the gym and, you know, to work out and stay healthy. Gosh, there's so many different...
There is.
There's so many.
And that's why I ask this, because the reality is a lot of people won't pick up on those things. There are some things people won't pick up on. Some things maybe they'll raise. And you guys tell me, what opportunities in marriage can you miss out on? Like, let's talk about date night. So you can miss out on date night. I make it real simple. What happened to us the other day? So and she's laughing. You know what? It's like, we haven't had a date night for a minute. We've been busy. Obviously, just the whole quarantine, we spent a lot of quality time together. It's been good. We haven't had a date night. And it wasn't like we were missing it because we've been together.
Yeah.
So we decided, and it was, listen, this is why sometimes you've got to work spur of the moment.
Yeah.
So spur of the moment, we had just come back from the supermarket. We just finished doing some shopping and we just said, you know what? Sarah, she has said to me for about 3 weeks now, she wouldn't mind eating out or getting some takeaway, basically. And we've kind of deviated from takeaway, for health reasons. Yeah, it does. Yeah, she cooks much better than them guys anyway. I'm a dab hand as well. So we decided just to go and grab. There's a new place that we spotted. We said, we want to try their food. We want to see what it's saying. So we decided to roll over there. We were talking about maybe, what was it? Some 10, 15 years ago, we used to go out for food, and there's a particular soup that Sarah used to like. I was just like, I know you like that. Let's go over there.
Yeah, once he mentioned that, I was like, okay, I don't mind giving that a try.
Yeah. So we went over, we ordered some food, stopped at a shop, got a little non-alcoholic beverage, and then jumped into the car.
Yeah.
So then hear this now. This was date night, right? So we parked up the car, just kind of outside the house.
Yeah.
Sat down in the car. We played a sermon.
Yeah.
We played, you play some music if that's your flavor. We played a sermon and we just sat down and we ate food together.
We broke bread, baby. We broke bread.
We broke bread. And we listened to and listen, it was
nice.
And it was date night.
It was so lovely. We kid you not, guys. It was so lovely.
And this is the point. It's like you have to capitalize on the opportunities when they present themselves. Listen, it was about a pound of fuel in the car, if even that. It was less than £20 worth of food. It was new place. We wanted to sample it, so we just tried a few dishes, and then it was just time, quality time together.
Ran in the house, got some spoons.
That's right.
And
then we just sat in the car.
We literally just outside,
and we just sat down and we just had a moment.
Yeah,
we just had a moment
it was
together.
Lovely.
And my point is that there are ample opportunities that we have that we can capitalize on. If only we're aware to alert to it, we're awake to it. We kind of we want it, basically. And I think this is one of the keys. So it's easy to talk about opportunities that are missed before you get into a relationship, before you start dating, or before you start courting, before you you lock it down. But when you get into marriage, the opportunities to compliment your partner, the opportunities to kind of consider your partner's needs, the opportunity to kind of factor in a date night here and there. Things have been real hectic, been real busy. Like the opportunity, you said something powerful, to draw on an intellectual study together. Start a book club with your spouse. Read a book with your.
I was gonna say.
Read a book with your spouse. These are real important things. I was talking to my brother the other day about a book, and I said, you know what? I think me and Cez might pick up the book. Like, we've got ample books that we kind of go through. I think the last book we read together was on healing, which was quite a while ago. But it's like that, and it's about really kind of just saying, okay, you know what? Let's read together. Let's grow together. That was a great point you brought up. So that was, I just wanted to tag that in there, and it's just really. You can miss opportunities in the relationship.
But let's keep it real, hun. That's why a lot of people have ended marriages, because they feel like the opportunities have passed.
Absolutely.
They feel like those opportunities to make it work have gone. They feel like the opportunities to fall in love again that ship has sailed. You
choose love, you don't fall in love. Go back and watch that video if you missed it. Yeah.
They feel like the opportunity to retrain the children together, so there's some kind of unity between the two of them. Have that time has passed, and there's so many different things that even communication. A lot of people who are married currently feel like that communication aspect, in order to build it and have it as they want, they feel it's too late. Why? Oh, we've been married 8 years. Oh, we've been married 10 years. What are we gonna start laying bricks again. No, these bricks have fallen down. Leave them down.
Yeah.
You know, that time has passed now. I can't be bothered to change him, or I can't be bothered to make her change. And you're not supposed to be changing people anyway. People are supposed to be changing voluntarily.
That's right.
But these are the mindset that we have in marriage, and a lot of the times it's, you know, why are marriages breaking down? Because the bricks of opportunities are not being rebuilt.
Come on now.
You know, they've fallen down and people are not putting them back together. You know, and what are the cements? The cements are finding out what that person, like, what did you do 5 years ago that made him love you so much?
Now.
What did you do, you know, earlier on in the relationship that made him fall for you? Do you know what I'm saying? What was it? Did you cut your hair and he doesn't like your hair short? Did he gain weight and she doesn't like you fat? Like, it could be so many different things, you know, and people are just like, oh, we're married now, so it's whatever. I should be me kind of thing, which again was one of my points. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be you, but are you so far from you that the person that you're in the person that you're married to feels like this isn't even her, this isn't even him? Where's the person I married 3 years ago? Where's that person gone? You know, so again, guys, you know, a lot of the times, if you are married and you feel like the walls are crumbling down, and you feel like you do not have what it takes to rebuild, that's a life in a pit of hell. Okay, because everybody, if somebody can turn around a failed business and rebuild it and start making six figures again, you can rebuild your marriage.
But there's no emotions there, Sarah. That's what they say.
There's
no emotions in the business. That relationship, you don't know what they've done to me. You don't know what they've done to me. What would you say to that person?
I would say that obviously, regardless of not regardless, but even though things have happened and things, you know, have been done, there's room for healing.
That's right.
It's all about coming together, communicating, and finding that space to heal together. Again, you know, some people's mental state of mind has so far gone in a relationship that it is hard for that spouse to bring them back. It is hard, but you know, if they're not on deep medication, if they haven't completely fallen into depression, of course there's a way to bring them back, you know, but then again, that's time, isn't it? A lot of people don't want to spend time anymore. A lot of people feel like, oh, I spent 15 years, I've given him 15 years of my time, the kids are grown now, I'm gone. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there's a lot of the times, even there's that aspect of things where people are waiting for children to grow so they can leave. You know,
it's crazy. That's crazy. That's real crazy.
But these are the things, they want their children to be brought up in 2-parent homes, but not really in a 2-parent home.
And I think the challenge with that mindset is that you're not really united, and where you're not really united spiritually, there is this invisible layer. As we sit here, people say, "Oh, you know what? They don't believe in the invisible," but you know, air is invisible. You understand? Our words, I'm talking, you can hear them, but you can't see them. There is so much that is spiritual, that is tangible. And they don't understand that there is a tangible awareness that the children have. They are aware that something's not quite right, or that it's different here than it is at so-and-so's house. And it
even though mummy and daddy are together.
That's right. And the challenge there is you're actually building in them that same nature that's in you. And it's very dangerous. Dangerous.
Especially with children, you know, especially with children. Wow, thank you so much, guys. We see the comments are going off here. Do you want to read some, or should we carry on?
Yeah, I think we'll come to that in just a moment, shall we?
Yeah, right. Okay, so I mean, I've got a bit of a list, you know, of why.
We can tackle one or two more. Just tackle one or two more, and then we'll jump to the comments if you want.
You know, why and how and people can constantly miss their opportunity on
talk to me.
A relationship. So I'm going to jump to this one. Thinking you know it all.
You know, that lines up with my next point.
Really?
And it was really about how goals, individual goals, can cause conflict.
Let's talk, babe.
You go first. Go on.
So, I mean, the reason why I put that thinking you know it all, because sometimes people are like, you know what, I've been in many relationships. Okay?
Yeah.
I've experienced all different types of categories of people, you know. So I think I've arrived. And because I've arrived, I think I can suss this out. Sorry, it's not working. You know, straight shut down, boom. You know, and just having that mentality of thinking, because of the past relationships that you've had, because of where you are now, maybe you know the level that you might be on, or whatever it may be. Sometimes people take that prideful stance and miss it. Pride, because of pride, they miss it. They fall into a ditch and they can't get out of that ditch because of pride. Okay, you say it as it is, it's pride. Okay, so for me, that's like a big thing, because pride comes with the attachments of, do they meet my criteria? Are they ticking things off my list? Are they going to be able to match up? Are they going to be able to get along with this person? Are they going to la, and the list can continue to roll on, instead of just thinking to yourself for a minute, you know what? I'm not going to label this person with anything from before. Yeah. I'm just going to see how this goes, you know. But then again, pride is a blocker in many things, even in marriages that are going on now. Yeah. There's pride in them. You know, marriages might be breaking down because someone has hurt someone and that person refuses to apologize. That person refuses to admit they're wrong. You know, if someone's in an abusive relationship, let's just say, you know, it's pride that is stopping the person, the abuser, from not seeing what they're doing, apologizing, coming to terms, and allowing their partner to heal, or going for some kind of counseling. You know, it's pride, and the scripture says pride comes before a fall. Right. And you know, a lot of times before a marriage is completely disrupted, it's pride involved. You know, the wife might feel that she's in the right, so she shouldn't have to go and make it right, or he might think he's in the right, or whatever it may be. But for me, pride, thinking you know it all, and having a prideful nature is again an opportunity for people to miss out on something good, especially what God has sent for them.
That's so rich. And you know, we talk about kind of doing that, your personal MOT, evaluating yourself in relationships before evaluating your partner. And this is where these things are so key, because if we're not having regular reviews of ourselves, our own personal development, if we're not retrospectively looking inward and saying, you know what, have I developed? Am I growing? Could I have done that better? Am I doing that well? What could I do? We're not speaking to our genuine, honest friends. You know, the sober friends that tell you the stuff that you don't like to hear? Not the yes guys or the yes girls. You know what I mean? But you go to those sober friends who will tell you straight. And if we're not checking in with those people from time to time, what we find is we find ourselves in a situation where we are caught up in pride. And we are breaking down our relationship from the inside out. The Proverbs say a wise woman builds her house, but the foolish woman tears it down from the inside with her hands. And this is really powerful, because we need to understand that it's us that's doing the building, or it's us that's doing the tearing down. That's right. That is so rich. So I wasn't going to come from such an elaborate stance. My point was just really that, you know, we have different goals. Obviously, I mentioned it before, I think, to you guys. So getting you on side with like the blueprint initially years ago took months and months, weeks and weeks of kind of getting us together, sitting down. And even then, like, I think we had seen the whole plan and kind of mapped a good portion of it together, but there was still this kind of lack of a momentum, lack of push towards it. But that can cause a bit of conflict, because you've got your own goals, I've got my own goals. You want to achieve in certain areas, I want to achieve in certain areas, and we kind of butt heads if we don't have a kind of united position. Imagine if you're setting out with someone and you're like, you get a sense, kind of maybe an inward witness here, I think this is the person, we're kind of moving forward together. Then they say to you, no, you're never going to get a degree. I don't want you've got one degree, postgraduate, never. I don't believe a woman should have a postgrad. In fact, I don't believe a woman should have a degree higher than my own. Oh wow. Do you understand? My wife shouldn't have a degree higher than mine. So obviously those kind of things. Wants to be called doctor. So maybe he doesn't like studying anymore. Do you know what I mean? So those kind of things cause conflict and challenges in relationships. Talk less of people who are kind of not even there yet. So it's just like, oh yeah, you've studied, and she wants to be a biochemist, and he's kind of just happy to be a motor mechanic, and he's like, you know what? I don't believe that I want to marry you. You're going to be my wife, but a biochemist, my wife will not be a biochemist. Do you understand? I don't even understand what that is. No. And rather than for him to get an understanding and grow in that area, and maybe she will assist him to grow beyond his capacity, he says no, she says no, and then there's a conflict because of, now this, we're talking about kind of social differences now, not so much the kind of cultural, but more social differences in that respect. And her parents said, you know what, you can be great, you can be anything, and his parents said, just get a job, work hard, and you'll be fine. And again, you've got those clashes there, and I think sometimes it's goals that can cause us to miss opportunities. We have unrealistic goals. We have goals that kind of are inconsiderate of the person we're looking to get close to, or the person we're married to, those kind of things can really, really cause challenges, turmoils, and be big stumbling blocks in relationships.
Just even on that point, you also have people who don't feel that they ever really want to amount to anything, and they want a mediocre life, you know, and then they bump into a woman who's quite ambitious and she's quite driven.
Yeah, come on.
And he's afraid of that, or she's afraid of him.
There's intimidation
There's intimidation. So it's kind of like, whereas this person could be that
person that you need,
the lift, exactly, because you've grown up in an environment where this is just what we do, this is how we are, let's keep our heads low, you know, let's not ask for too much in life. And then, you know, you meet someone one day and they're just on fire, and it's just like, oh no, I don't think, you know, and that just, what's that word? It's like self-destruction sort of thing. Like a self-sabotage in a sense that, you know, could make someone easily miss out on a good opportunity as well, you know.
I think it's really powerful. I think
self-sabotage.
So I think we need to really be open to the idea that the people that we're engaging with, that the person that God is lining up for us, the person we're selecting for ourselves, if you're not going with the one God selected for you, that there is potential for us to really grow and develop from this relationship. We may not see eye to eye in terms of some of our goals, in the overall vision. However, there is room for us to develop personally, which could, in essence, mature our goals or give us new goals as we go forward. And I think it's really important that we understand that and we ascertain that, because a lot of the time, especially when I'm talking to you guys, I'm saying to you guys, look, your worldview's perspective, XYZ, you've got to be hard and fast about this. And as much as those things are important, there needs to be a balance. And it's about understanding the fine line between that balance. And we do this by kind of having a grading system of what's important to us and what's not. So if you understand what your priorities are, then you know what the prerequisites are for getting into this new relationship, or for taking the relationship to the next level. Understanding the priorities is key, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like I said, I got a few points.
Yeah, we can camp here. If you want to camp here, then we can camp here and we'll go into comments.
And so just before we camp, I think I'll make this point, and it's not hearing from God. Not hearing, you know, if you have a relationship with the Lord, if you're a believer or you know, you have you're a faith-based person, and you're not asking the Lord for guidance in this area, you know, he knows what's best. He knows what's best for each and every one of us. And a lot of the times, a lot of people have missed an opportunity because they just haven't committed it to the Lord. They haven't committed that this aspect of their life. They've just gone with the flow. They've just gone with worldly views. They've just gone with what they know. They've just gone with how they feel, and it's, you know, it's been left in a sense unguarded. It's been left to their own perspective in a sense. We only know so much.
That's right.
You know, we only know so much as human beings, you know, but not allowing the Lord to lead and direct and to guide. That's powerful. I mean, that's dangerous.
I've had so many coaching sessions where people have said to me, you know what, I'm counseling different guys, and they've said to me, you know what, I just go with the flow. Like,
wow.
There's some have said it runs in my family. Some have said, you know, this is just the way I am. Some have said it's just not important to me. Some have said, you know what, I'm not that kind of a person. And constantly, that's been a challenge. They've not seen the fruit that they want to see in an area, and it's like, you could say like pseudo spiritual, somewhat like they're aware of God, or however you want to categorize it. But however, they don't give it over to him. And this is where we see the challenges come. The worst is where people have a rich relationship with God, but have this mindset that, you know what, I can do this bit all by myself. And that is that, listen,
but then again, it's kind of like, you know, how many times do people go around interviewing married couples going, did you hear from God on that relationship? You know, did God bring you guys together? Or what stance did you take? Like, people don't really ask those questions. True. So people probably don't even really know that they should be doing that anyway. You know, they probably don't even know they should be doing that. So I'm saying it because it's an important point. It's an important factor. You know, some people have ended up marrying the devil.
That's real talk.
Okay? They've married their worst nightmare.
That's real talk.
Okay? whether faith-based, whether Christians or whatever it may be, I'm believing, have married people that they should not have even engaged with.
Yeah.
You know, why? Oh, because he ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But there were probably certain things that you didn't realise, that person didn't realise that, wait, okay, they tick all these boxes, but there's something not right here. Quite right. But you know what? He ticks all the boxes, so it's all right. We'll be fine. This is just my ideal. This is just the Mr. Know-It-All. Yeah, just my
these
ideal.
These things end in emotional distress, pain, divorce, all of the negative sides of marriage we see from that kind of stuff. And it's only by the grace of God. Yeah, only by the grace of God.
And that, you know, I feel like that's what I really love about this show. You know, being real, keeping it real, saying things, and really giving people the opportunity to look at things from another perspective.
Come on now.
Because a lot of things are taking place out there that are not allowing people to look at things from the right perspective.
True.
The media is fully blocking people with certain views and certain worldviews and certain ideologies that are just not realistic. Okay, and if you're sucked in on Instagram, if you're sucked in on Facebook and all those other social media platforms, and you're constantly looking at certain things, okay, these are edited lives, okay, so you must be very careful that you're not going down that road.
Let's go.
So, I love when I scroll all the way to the top. Right. So again, hi guys, good evening. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all of you, each and every one of you that are still watching. All of you that have shared the link. You know, if you haven't shared the link, feel free to still share the link. We're still going to be on here reading out your comments. So if anyone is joining now, they're still going to catch some juice. Yes. So we've got hi Kat Johnson, hi Ecosmios. Kat Johnson says, puts dinner down and listens intensely. Yes, we like it. Kat Johnson says, do you think there's one at different stages if you're still in single life? For example, the person at 20 that you may have missed at 30, will there be one if you're still single?
Whoa, powerful question. So I think you want to answer that?
Well, I'm just looking at it.
Do you want to answer the question?
Surprise.
Do you want to answer the question?
Do I want to answer?
So I think go on. Please.
Okay, so this is what I was saying about grace. There's grace, okay? There's grace and mercy out there. That because even if, you know, at 20, that person isn't in your life anymore and it didn't work out, you know, it's about taking the opportunity that you do have in your 30s. And I think that's probably that for me, that would probably be the answer that I would give. If you have an opportunity now that you are in your 30s, instead of, you know, ensuring that you're not over fussy, you're not, all the things that we've mentioned thus far, looking at things from the right perspective, of course, you know, and that's what's such a blessing, I think, about relationships. It's not that if the person in your 20s sailed off into the sunset, that's it. You're gonna be single until, you know, the Lord calls you home. You know, no. 100%. There's opportunities in your 30s.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on this previously, and that question almost seems like it's saying, what if I've missed it and it's done? Like, is there still hope? Basically,
there is.
And I think that God is so faithful, and it's so powerful that the Scripture gives us room to understand His grace. You just mentioned it now, and I think that where you are now, the most important thing, Sarah ended it just now on the last point, and it was seeking God, really committing it to God. And I think that the mistake, if I would have missed anything early in my early days, it was because it wasn't fully committed to Him. And as I'm growing now, it's the more I commit to Him, the more I see what it is He wants me to see. Yeah. The more I receive what He wants me to receive. So I definitely think that there's room for that. Definitely. Frankie says, yep. The past. That past, those pasts can be, some could be quite traumatic, you know? Absolutely.
Traumatic.
Hard to let go of some pain, calls from it. And I think, you know, it's really about one of those situations where we commit to being mature. Do you understand? It's just really saying, you know what, I'm going to be mature about this. I understand that the emotions are real. I've said it so many times, you would have heard me say it, and something I minister to the church on a regular basis, and it's just really like, your emotions are real. They feel real, but at times they lie to you. It's just about having a clear understanding of that. You know, it's those emotions that will tell you never forgive them. Yeah, it will push you, and the thoughts that come, oh, they deserve it, and it's just like you find yourself,
or even you deserved it.
There you go. And that's the flip side.
There's those emotions that make people say, no, I deserved to be left, and I was about, you know, people go for a whole heap of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's a real challenge. So absolutely, we relate to that. Even I think in certain terms, even going through painful situations in relationships and overcoming them in the relationship strengthen us.
That's right. All the more.
But the foundation in that is really giving it to God.
Yes.
This is the foundation in that. So
definitely.
It's really about that.
Definitely.
Who's next? Girls got lists, guys got lists.
Everybody got lists. Exactly. Even children's have got lists.
I hear that. Sound like one seasonal holiday, boy.
It's true.
Yeah. So Mrs. I. Calvin says, "Hey all, how you doing? How you doing? Frankie says, should culture and tradition? Do you want to read that out?
It's not
should culture and tradition?
Where is that? Should culture and tradition really matter when you're a child of God?
Powerful.
Thank you, Frankie. Thank you.
What do you reckon?
Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
So you're cool with that?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, yeah? Listen, I tell you this. Parents, okay, this is one thing that I keep on saying. Start praying for your children and the relationships from now.
That's right. Powerful.
Yeah? Start praying for them now. Start covering them now. Okay? Because you don't want one demon, one witch to come and be terrorizing your child.
They call themselves warlocks. You don't want a warlock either. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm super serious with you.
You do not want someone to come and start terrorizing your child. But you know what? We cover them spiritually.
Come on now.
You pray for their relationships now. You pray that the Lord opens their eyes from now. You pray that they allow the Lord to lead them and guide them from now. That's one thing I say that to my friends all the time. Start praying for your children and their relationships from now. They might be little, but those prayers are going to go a long way when they get to that place. And they're going to know that you've been praying for them, so they're going to be taking certain things seriously.
That's a powerful truth that I've experienced myself, basically. So from my parents, this is something I've seen like firsthand. The weirdest thing was, as much as I saw it, it wasn't until even not so many years ago, not so long ago, that a man of God, a friend, had said to me, you know what, it's very important for us to pray for the spouses of our children, no matter how old they are.
That's right.
So as much as I saw this at home when I was a lot younger, and even through conversation with parents, my mum specifically, she would say to me, look, you know what, on an X day a week, I pray for you, I pray for your spouse, I pray for, and she's telling me, literally, she does this. But in terms of adopting this, it was when I really kind of had a conversation, and the conversation really kind of just switched on the light, and I was like, for real, you know, from as early as a child is born. And I've got another good friend, in fact, who shed light on this for me as well some time back, and he was just like, you know what, you got to pray for their spouse from early, and it's that the Lord has been witnessing it to me, funny enough. And it's one of those things, it doesn't matter if your child is born, your child is in the womb, from as early as you can utter, from as early as the baby's kicking, we need to begin to cover them, cover their family, cover their future, cover their destiny.
That's right. Because obviously, I mean, if you think things are bad now, when children who are 5 are hitting 25, 20 years from now, what's the world going to look like?
Come on now.
What is the world going to look like 20 years from now? You just take a minute and ponder on that. Okay? So, you know, just if that's one of the advice that you take from today, take it, because start praying for your children.
This next comment has got me cracking. Ecosmio says some cultures are like foreign planets.
that is so true.
That is so real. It's like, and this is why we really need to be on point, because the reality is that there are people whose cultural norms are so far from our own, and this is why, rather than talk to you about the country, I'll talk to you about a worldview. And where I'm standing, my worldview is reflected by the beliefs I have in the kingdom of God. So if someone is standing alongside me from one of these foreign planets. You understand? Obviously, there is gonna be a clear block,
sort of.
a clear disparity because we don't agree. However, I need to be open. Is that division based on me not having enough humility? Am I walking in pride, or is it actually that what they believe goes completely against what I believe? Are we not standing together in this? And if that's the case, then obviously we need to kind of go our separate ways, because this is not going to work. We spoke about the example. Someone says that they worship one something. Someone else says they worship the living God. Those two people can't connect. They cannot fellowship. It goes against the core fundamentals, I'm believing, of both of those belief systems.
Even something just like, one culture might believe that, look, you bear everything on the table. There's no secrets in marriage. No one, you should both know each other. And there's another culture that be like, listen, don't tell him everything. You got to keep some things to yourself. You got to keep some things to, don't let her see where all your money's going. All these kind of stuff. So, like, you've got one culture who's like, bear it all on the table, it will benefit your life. You've got the other one saying, don't bear all, it will benefit your life. It's left now for those two people to be like, okay, how do we make this work? Again, communication, like we've spoken about before.
Absolutely.
Communication can really begin to break down some of these cultural barriers anyway. So if you do meet someone and they do have cultural differences, it's about beginning to
ask
talk
those
and understand.
hard questions early.
You don't miss your opportunity just because they're from a different culture.
And this is why we talk about asking the hard questions early. If you ask these hard questions early, what Sarah is saying, you do that discovery, you're able to find out what's really good, what's really going on, can this work, can't this work? You come out of the gate. And I think these things are important. You don't want to be 6 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years down the road invested in this kind of relationship, thinking one thing, then boom, out of the blue, you hear this thing. And it's just like, well, if I knew that in the beginning, I wouldn't have wasted my time. You should have asked that from the get-go. Ecosmio says, what would you advise someone who believes they're meant to marry a different culture but parents are vehemently against it? To the point.
Wow.
So
you answer that one.
So I think obviously, like my first point and foremost is you got to pray. Be prayerful, extremely prayerful about this. This is key. You need to pray, because marriage is really, as much as we look at it as a union of cultures and all those kind of things, it's a constitution. It's a covenant. It's an agreement that is being made in the sight of God, in the mind of, like, in the presence of God. So I think that's what's most important. I'm not saying, and I think it's very important for us to honor those who are going before us. So what's really important for me is, are the parents spiritual or not spiritual? Are they being spiritually guided or not? Like, even I remember when myself and Sarah started off at the beginning, my mum was just like, well, I need some time to pray. I need to, like, give me, 6 months or something? She wanted months to pray about it. And it's like, sometimes, her timeline, our timeline, maybe didn't corroborate.
You didn't get the full point on Ecosmios. He says, to the point, being disappointed to parents may end relationships with them.
Thank you. I chopped it off here. Sorry. Okay, so the point is that to the point that being
to the point that being disobedient to parents may end relationships with the parents.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. So I think that.
So now the point has completely changed.
No. We're still the same. So first and foremost, we need to pray. We need to be extremely prayerful about this. And then the second thing is really, what is the spiritual positioning of your parents? So are they godly parents? Are they not godly parents? This is key, because sometimes, and when I say
emotional.
sometimes when I say that, what I mean is that some parents are governed by their culture. Culture first, and then. I mean geographical culture, all right? So their country culture. They're governed by that first, and then next it's the biblical culture. Or do they think that you can make a separation between the two? So we really need to establish those things. We don't want to go out and dishonor our parents. We want to honor our parents as best we can in the sight of God. This is very, very important. However, we need to put God in his position and place. So this is my thing is, from my experience, our prayer really assisted, taking actions in faith as the Lord led, assisted, and then really conversing. And I'm talking about lots of conversation. When we talk about communication, it's not just the relationships. It's also it's not just within the kind of intimate relationship like this, your marriage, husband and wife, it's also about all of the relationships in your dynamic. And the more you're able to communicate in your ecosystem, the more favor you're able to find, the more peace you're able to find, the more joy you're able to find, because you can communicate so much more, and you're so much more open, and you cover more ground basically that way. So it's very, very communication is very important. So
and on that point, don't miss your opportunities because of your parents. Okay, don't miss out on your opportunity because of your parents. Okay, a lot of people have not ended up with the person that they should have been with because of their parents' worldviews, because of their parents' stance, because their parents didn't like them, because the person looked a certain way. Don't miss out on your opportunity because of your parents. Thank you, Ikosmios.
Super. All right, cool. So we got comments coming in. Ikosmios says she's laughing at Kat Johnson. We've got Queen B who's got a thumbs up.
Thank you.
We've got Frankie who's put in Acts 10. Come on now, my scriptorians. Appreciating that. Scriptures in the chat.
Go and see what that says.
Nasma Chowdhury says, hello guys, another great topic and episode. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate you commenting. Thank you so much.
Yes.
This says, "O mankind, behold, we created you from a single male and a single female. We have made you into different tribes and nations, so that why
different tribes and nations,
so
that you may get to know each other."
Great. So she says this is a very famous line from the Quran. Okay.
She's a lot connected another, including interracial marriages and families.
Super.
Osa Akamwin says praise. Praise. Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got a few more comments coming in. Do you want to read out what's next?
The lesser known quote from the Quran, but equally beautiful. Nada says, and among his wonders is the creation of heaven and earth, the diversity of tongues and colours. For this, behold, there are messages indeed for all who are possessed of innate knowledge.
I'm not seeing it. Sorry, I'm not seeing it.
Sorry.
It's painful to think you've missed an opportunity, but it's so true what Sarah said. It's dangerous not to allow God to lead you.
It's having trust in him, faith and action, but it can be so scary.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so true.
Listen,
that's so true. That's a good point.
Faith is not something. Let's just be straight for a moment. Like to walk in faith. All right. The scripture says faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen. So what does that mean? It means that when you are walking in faith, in the natural plane, you cannot envisage what is required of you in essence. So it's like there is no it's like walking up a staircase but not seeing the steps before you. But every time you put your foot down,
it lands
the
on
step
something.
exists. You take another step and the step exists.
Come on now.
So it's like, and this is biblical faith. This is the real biblical faith. Listen, this has worked for me since I was a young boy, and I can only share with you and say to you that, look, to really take a step of biblical faith really requires you to go outside of what you understand and what you believe to be correct. Proverbs chapter 3, powerful verse, and it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding in all of your ways. That means relationships, finances, money, whatever. It says, in all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. This is my Bible partner here, yeah? So thank you, baby. So this is really, really important stuff. So yes, faith does present this element of fear. Yeah. Okay, but when we take the steps,
it can be a bit daunting. It can be
absolutely.
A bit scary.
But when we take the steps of faith,
because it's kind of like just going off Nazma's point, trusting him, having faith in action can be a bit scary. It's like the Lord's presented something, and for you to really take that on, you have to just be like, Lord, if this is what you're saying, and you have to fully trust and believe with all your heart that this is what the Lord is saying, this is what God is saying, this is who God has planted for you, and just walking in that.
Yeah.
You know, at the same time, there will be the thoughts in the back of your head going, I hope I'm hearing from God. You know, but you know, we have to remember that the enemy can come in and distort and make
Absolutely.
it be like, are you really sure? Is this what you want to do? So all those fear aspects are from the flesh, and from obviously from the enemy as well. So we have to remember and take that into consideration, that when the Lord is presenting something to you, those fear aspects can be coming from obviously from the worldly perspective, can be coming from the enemy, and all these different lies and things that try to come in to stop you from fully walking,
realizing that's the fullness,
and taking that leap and saying, God, I'm going with you on this.
Praise him.
Yeah,
she's got this guy. I think we've got one or two comments left. Nazma Chari said, wow, what a line. Your emotions are real, but they may lie to you. Thank you. So true. Listen, I've experienced it. What Sarah's talking about now, the point you made earlier on, Nazma, just really about the whole faith being that kind of a scary thing. It's so true. Like, we see this all the time. Your emotions want to kind of challenge you.
Yeah.
They want to go against what God says.
Yeah.
But we know, and this is the powerful thing about the Bible, it is so real in that it tells you these things. These things are there. You know that the flesh wants to take you out. It's warring against your spirit. You know that temptation is there, and it's kind of creeping, crouching, wanting to take you out. We know that the enemy's there, and the enemy wants to sift us. So all of these things are there and present in the word, and empowers us to take these steps of faith.
Definitely.
Praise God.
Frankie's got a comment here. Hope you can
So
get that
also
up.
Kim Wynn says your parents could be right too. Absolutely.
True, but you made that point saying
absolutely.
if your parents are spiritual, they're hearing from God and they're praying for you and they
Absolutely.
really have your best intentions at heart.
Yes.
Of course they could be right.
I would say that it's not.
A couple of examples.
One of the things we need to be, I want to be super clear on, is that it's not about us versus the parents. It's not about that. What this is really about is just really giving God the place and the position. And what's so key about this is, for many of us, our parents have been leading us down the pathway from the get-go. Yeah. And it's really important that we understand that.
Down the right path.
I'll tell you this for, just as a quick takeaway. Like, I talked to Grace and Joe about this on a regular, my two daughters, and this is what I say to them. I say to them, look, God gave you to each other. You might quibble, squabble, you might have challenges, but God has put here in the house what you need to get you to the next level. And that is so relevant to parents. Yeah. I don't want anyone to ever think that parents are not a spiritual value. Parents have been given to us because they have what we need to take us forward. Yeah. God trusted them. God trusted them. M trusted them with us. So remember that. Everybody needs to remember that. Everyone needs to remember that.
Right. You've got Frankie who said, married life becomes easier when you look to God and carry your cross and let Jesus take all the past issues and excuses that life places in your mind to act up. And that's so true. That's so true. Frankie also says, everything in the world is a distraction from what we are called to do. Serve your maker. Women especially get distracted by fake relationship goals. So true.
That was rich. That was so rich.
I like that.
Thank you, Frankie.
That was like, ladies, listen up, okay? Don't get fooled by fake relationship, or not even just fake, like over expected relationship goals. I mean, we spoke about that. I can't remember what episode it was now. Where we were talking about over emphasizing what it is that you desire in a sense, and just making it a little bit more realistic in a sense. So yeah,
we got one more comment.
Yes.
What if your parents have said they've prayed about the decision and they don't feel led that this is the man or woman for you? Do you forget your convictions or be obedient to your parents?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? So listen.
This is us is coming with this today.
This is the real deal. And I think...
I need to get her on the phone.
So I think what we really need to do is it is important for us to honour our parents.
Yeah.
Honouring our parents is immensely powerful. And Nazma made a point about things being scary. Now, if we truly believe and have conviction, this is the person for us, we need to go to God with it. God, the scripture tells us clearly that God, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord.
Yes.
And he moves it to and fro as the water courses. He has the ability to stir people's hearts, to move their hearts. And listen, I know sometimes people are moving in stubbornness, and people are moving in this kind of a mindset that really hinders them from yielding to God. And we see this time and time again with parents, with children, with kings, with rulers, with nations in the scriptures on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to really be mindful of is the fact that we can all get it wrong and we can all get it right. But again, you guys are going to be preaching today. So the scripture is very clear when it says, many are the plans of a man, but it says the will of God will prevail. So if we truly believe that God's will overshadow all else, we need to be confident and expectant that his will and his plan will bear fruit. So I think this is the reality. So I know that I hope that touches and answers your question, but the reality is honoring your parents is really key, and as we honor God as a priority, he will make the moves that are necessary to have things change.
But as you were talking, I thought to myself, like, that question that Ecosmios has just asked, if the person turned around and went with their parents, but the parents said this isn't a good idea, and then a little while later the Lord reveals to this male or female, really shows them that actually this wasn't my plan for you.
Yes.
What? I mean, this is why, I don't know, it's like, for me, it's like, your parents have advised, but it's up to you now to seek the Lord for yourself and really make that decision.
Absolutely.
Because if you turn around and let someone go based on your parents have prayed and remember I said earlier, pray for your children and their relationship from the jump off.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, if the person is like clearly just outright not good, rude, disrespectful, it might not be that blatant, but the person will kind of know, might get a sense of, okay, this person, I can see why mum and dad are saying, this woman or this guy is not really for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Or could they have sent something spiritually? Because there's that as well. Some parents are really in tune with the Lord that way. But then I still feel like it's still up to the individual to really make that decision.
Ultimately, it comes down to them.
As opposed to not be like, what mum and dad have said, this isn't for me. I don't know. I don't know.
So I think, okay, so maybe I should have taken into account the age of the people. So I'm responding, I'm considering that this is maybe someone who's still fairly young. If we're talking about,
you're probably talking about someone in their 30s.
Because if we're talking, listen. So look, my perspective is still quite the same. But however, if we're talking about people who are full grown, I'd ask you, did you solicit your parents' counsel before you went to take on a new job? And it's really about getting a clearer.
Before you dating that person.
And it's really about getting a clearer picture of why your parents are saying no. This is very, very important. What she said clearly is that they have said this is what the Lord is saying. Yeah. And I've got another video that I'm working on at the moment. And I don't want to talk about it now because I didn't want to talk about it now because it does not fit for where we are right now. But what's important is, like I tried to say it clearly just now, we all get it right, we all get it wrong. It's really about, it is your personal conviction, but the scripture encourages us to honour our parents, honouring them. So honouring them does not necessarily always mean obeying them. So I'm just like, I pray that I've got a mature audience on there now, because I'm chucking some mature juice at you now, and I hope you're catching it. So obedience is a part of honour, but it's like honour is not necessarily defined strictly by obedience, but it is a part of it. So like I said previously, my point is, I'd hope that you'd honour your parents' perspective. They're saying this is what the Lord's saying. I'd go back to the Lord and say, Lord, this is what you said. This is what you said to me, Lord. Lord, you said this.
Show me. Give me a
word. Your word is clear that I must honour them. So then the Lord will witness to you. The Lord will work on your parents if this is for you. This is real serious.
Yeah.
This is real serious.
It's mature talk now.
It's not the kind of thing that you can just be like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna run away and do this, or I'm not gonna run away and do this, or I'm just gonna. It's like, this is a real serious matter. We need to be prayerful, and my hope is that you're prayerful about this. You can't be a person who don't pray
and
you be like, oh yeah, my parents said this, but I don't want to do what they're saying. It's like fam, what's your spiritual relationship? What's really good? So
you better listen to your parents in that.
So we need to get that stuff. We need to get that stuff right in the first place. All right.
Right, we've got a few more comments. Let's go.
It says real relationship goals.
Hey,
come on now.
It cost me a sponsor. Come on the phone line.
Okay.
We are going to have a Q&A session soon.
We're working on it.
We're working on it, guys.
All right, because I know there's probably many who aspire to be Carl Lentz and his wife, whose relatives have now been crushed and faith swayed. Can you see the rest of that?
Oh, and faith swayed. That's it.
Okay, yeah. So and I think that's true. You know, there are real challenges out there that are going on right now. Our prayers are with Carl Lentz and the ministry over there. This is a real situation. So and the people are going through these real challenges on a day-to-day basis. So myself and Sarah mentioned it earlier on. We have to give God praise, because it's only by the grace of God. People be like, but yeah, you're doing it. Listen, we're doing it by the grace of God, and it's that real. So we just thank him for that.
Yeah.
We thank him for that. Okay, I think we got one last comment, and we're gonna. Nazma Chowdhury says, you can listen to your parents who have the best intentions for you and take their opinions into account and figure out why, etc. But you have to make your own decisions and hold yourself to account.
That's right.
So when you hear that, listen.
Spot on.
The point I want to make is that this all comes down to your world view.
Yeah.
My world view tells me I should honor my parents.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of people honor their parents because it's culturally right, because they've been brought up to do it culturally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're from African households. I've got friends who come from an Asian household. We've got friends who come from different areas. So I've got some friends who are kind of like East Asian, and it's like different spaces teach different things.
Yeah.
But when I'm advising, I'm telling you now, listen, honor your parents. I'm not saying it because this is what I think. I'm saying that those of you who are sons or daughters of the living God and understand that He comes first, we honor Him.
Yeah.
In honoring Him, He says, honor your parents.
The scripture says.
So this is where we have to remain focused and we have to remain motivated. You go for it.
You guys we're here. We'll sit here talking to you all night. So keep the comments coming in. But you know what? It's really inspiring when the comments come in, because it really shows that the topics really are engaging and people are thinking about these things. So we're thanking each and every one of you that have, left, your comments on, because you're pouring your heart out at the same time.
We appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
We appreciate
really
it.
do.
Remember, I say it to you guys all the time, this conversation here, this whole show is here. And this conversation is fostered by you guys.
Yeah.
So when we bring these points out, we're bringing these out, thinking about you guys, thinking about where you are, thinking about the places we've come from, and really wanting to help to embolden relationships so we can see godly relationships, see marriage the way God has defined it, really kind of be enriched and just cover the globe. So that's why we're here. Cosmios, what does she say? She says, I know a man whose parents said no, as they were too culturally different. All four of them God-fearing. He honored the parents and ended the courtship. 3 or 4 potential suitors later, the parents were almost
begging to get that girl back, and he says the relationship would have never been so good having not obeyed his parents initially. The Lord rewarded him for his obedience.
There you go. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah,
I think that's powerful.
Definitely.
And it's really just about understanding that God is the one who in the end gets the glory. This is not about me, I knew it, or she knew it, or whatever. It's really about being committed to God and really submitted to His will, to His purpose, and to His way. Yo!
great.
Listen, it has been a blast this evening.
Awesome.
Really appreciate you guys.
We appreciate every
you guys.
single one of you. We do have fun doing this, and it's such a joy and such a blessing to be able to do it with you guys and have the conversation, with each and every one of you, taking your time out of your day to, sit down with us and tune in. We just ask that you share yeah, you know, you share the show with your friends and your family, and share it with people on your own social media platforms, and you know, let other people get engaged and hook in with us on the next show. We are trying to grow, we're trying to build, just to make sure that we're getting the word
message
out,
That's
getting
right.
the message out. You know, there are people talking about marriages right now, and you know, it's an important part of life. It is a very important part of life. So yeah, just continue to support us the way you're supporting us already, and we'll continue to show up.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a blessing and an honor once again.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, I don't know why not. Hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this content, please.
Yes.
If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike and add a comment. Let us know what you dislike about the video. Understand that we're happy to kind of take that on board and improve, as long as it fits within our worldview. Do you know what I'm saying?
And again, you know, in the comment section, let us know if there are particular topics you want us to talk about. You know, again, you guys are our community. We want to engage with you. So yeah.
Sounds good. You know how it goes. I've been Ezekiel.
And I've been Sarah.
And we're here today for another episode of Marriage Matters Live. Alright, guys. Have a good evening, alright? Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.